Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It was Jim Scuto last night that was sitting in for Wolf Blitzer on the Situation Room. And again, I watched about 30 minutes of it before I left the office. And maybe for the nightly news tonight, I'll actually go back and find that archive and play these clips. But they had a roundtable going, it's Trump's fault, and he's going to start a war now, and it's his fault, and the war is inevitable. And they were all very satisfied. And they said some really bizarre stuff. They had a professor on there, and they were saying, Trump's only going with his instincts and his advisors. So he doesn't know what he's doing. This is going to cause a war. Well, what are you following, your advisors and instincts? They act like no one can think but them. It's this disconnect. Plus, they're not even telling us what their real aims are. They're saying to the world, you elected Trump, so we're going to start a war with Russia. We're going to start a war in the Middle East, and we're going to give a green light for the new intifada. That means a giant uprising, a rebellion, a civil war initiated by the United States siding with the United Nations to plunge the globe into a worldwide crisis. Not for the Palestinians. The globalist financed Islamicist invasion of Syria that's killed over 300,000 people, almost all of them Christians and non-radical Muslims. They call it a conspiracy theory that our government financed this in the last 6 years. It's all public. Congress has had hearings. The military's gone public. It's like the news is saying it's a conspiracy that the United States was behind the vote at the UN and the abstention. They're behind the whole deal. They've bragged they're behind it. I mean, it's a new type of psychological warfare, and I don't think it's working. I think it's delusion, where they go, we're not behind this vote, even though they admit they are. There's no IRS penalties. There's not 18,000 IRS agents in Obamacare. The hell there isn't. It's right there in the bill. And now people are getting hit with it. That's what I mean. I think these people are crazy. They've got a method to what they're doing, but it's total delusion, cuckoo, cocoa puff land. It's crazy. Because the whole world, I mean, they've got polls of 60+% of Americans on the low end, 80+% on the high end. In dozens of polls, you've all seen them, almost no one's buying that Russia was involved in our election, and people don't care because it was a global free-for-all of all these other countries trying to say we can't have a populist movement. But when Soros and globalist publications like the Financial Times and The Economist and the New York Times admit what's happening, they know it's not racism. They know it's not Hitlerian. They know it's just classic nationalism where we want economic systems that are good for us as countries and as individuals, not good for the globalists and their big world government project. We don't want to be ruled by secret TPP and WTO and all these unlawful treaties that don't even get ratified most of the time, but we live under them. Just like the UK never voted in the 80s and the 90s under the different treaties like Lisbon to enter it. And people are like, we didn't vote to enter, and it makes over 90% of our laws, and it's flooding us with unskilled, dangerous jihadists. We don't want to be part of this. And they say, shut up, you are under it. We don't care how you voted. People say, well, Alex, see, what did it matter? They're ignoring it. Good, that'll blow up in their face bigger. You mean the UK says we vote to get out and you say no? We have the moral high ground. We're going to win. That's why they're panicking. It's why they're freaking out. It's why they're pulling their hair out. When we come back, I have a clip of him on 60 Minutes saying he did what he had to working with the Nazis. That'd be like if somebody said, kill your family or we'll kill you. I'd say, pull the frickin' trigger. But I'd try to take you out before I did that. But it's this attitude to lay down and give up. Only one Jewish neighborhood stood up against the Nazis in the Warsaw Ghetto in Poland, and they killed, it's estimated, over 5,000 of them in just a year. And it took them months and months and months to even take the ghetto finally. One group of Jews, maybe 1,000, stood up with a couple firearms and held the Nazis off for months. What would have happened if people would have stood up against Hitler in Europe? We wouldn't have had this crap. And now we have this little monster running around, overthrowing countries, destabilizing the Middle East, backing jihadists, overthrowing Ukraine, trying to start a war with Russia, and he's financing the Democratic Party to try to start a war with Russia and a war with Israel because he's throwing a temper tantrum. There he is in the news. Billionaire globalist pens panicked rant. We have a dangerous, psychopathic demon in control of the Democratic Party and MSM trying to start a frickin' world war. And I get the fact he's a Rothschild agent. That's why he's so powerful. And you guys think you're invincible. You're not. The Rothschilds sued British newspapers for saying they were behind the New World Order. They lost in court 5 years ago. And the court said, no, this finds you were behind the Russian oligarchs and sucking that country dry. I'm telling Soros, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, and everybody else, you're not going to pull this off in the dark this time. You understand we got a big old spotlight on your butt. InfoWars has more than 15 YouTube channels and about 3 million subscribers. Our main channel has 1.854 or 1,854,000 plus subscribers. Now, they've been gaming the system for a long time to shut down nationalistic or patriotic media, saying we're right-wingers, saying we're extremists. Well, it doesn't matter who we are. We have a right to free speech, don't we? As long as we don't violate the rules. Well, now Zuckerberg has come out and said he's going to restrict conservative news like Communist China does, calling it fake news. And Google, that owns YouTube, has announced, and they've done it now 2 weeks ago, that they're going to basically make you click the bell in your notifications. We're going to show you how to do that, or you won't get all the channels that you've subscribed to and you won't get the videos. Now, why are they doing this? It's more than just censoring. They want you to see the videos that they feed you below and beside the videos you're looking at that are corporately sponsored so they make more money. They're taking the you out of YouTube. So we're in this information war, and it's more important than ever that you promote the videos, that you like the videos, and that you send them on to others. Because the answer to the attempt to shut us down and restrict free speech that's openly now happening is for us to redouble our efforts. We're winning the culture war as true classical liberals that made this country great. We're restoring the Renaissance. So again, if you want to get our videos, so you can make your decision whether you want to see them or not. After all, that's why you subscribed. YouTube's had this since they started 12 years ago or whatever it was. And they're fundamentally changing it so you don't get it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is promoting fake news and trash news and establishment news. It's killing real independent news. But we the people, by taking action, can break the back of this system. So please, click on the bell so you get the notifications and so you get in your feed the videos and channels you've subscribed to. I'm Alex Jones for Infowars.com.